Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Mears out in Internet Land, and I want to welcome you to my catch-all room. Today's lesson is going to be for our ladies and gentlemen that have finished their other math work and are ahead and need a little enrichment. So we are going to work on the distributive property today, and then we're going to do a little more complex multiplication to get you ready for fourth grade next year. So I am going to screen share, and you will find this activity in Google Classroom. So, well, you found it in Google Classroom, and then you hopefully went to the video. So here we go. And share. There we go. I'm little in the corner. Now, when you open it in Google Classroom, it's going to look like this. I am going to come up here to Zoom because I want to make it way bigger so that it's easier to deal with. So let's go to 100%. There we go. Now it's nice and big. So originally, this just had this right here as a sample when we would use it in the classroom. But since you are doing this electronically, I wanted to give you a second sample that you could then copy and paste from. So we are going to look at this, and I'm going to explain this process. So to do 3 times 10 using the distributive property, you notice here's your 3 and here's your 10. It is then broken into 2 different segments. We have the 3 by 3 segment, and here it's represented right here in red. And then it's still 3 tall, but this section is 7 long. So here's your 3 by 7. And then our next row, 3 times 10, that's the purple stuff. When we multiply it, we get 30. 3 times 3, when we multiply that, we get 9. 3 times 7, when we multiply that, we get 21. Now, when we add the 9 and the 21, we get 30, which matches over here. So the area of a 3 by 10 rectangle is 30 centimeters squared. So I picked Chewy as my font because I thought that'd be kind of fun. This particular rectangle is a 3 by 9. My left side, I made that one red and I set it transparent. I'm going to grab my pointer. And I made this, whoops, so that it's movable. So that you will, in a minute, once I finish talking about this one, we're going to copy paste this whole thing and we're going to bring it down to this rectangle over here. So I'm going to explain this one now. So 3 times 9, here's a 3 times 9 in purple. 3 times 9 is 27. Now to do this using the distributive property, you'll notice this section is 3 rows of 4. So 3 times 4, and here's 12 because 3 times 4 is 12. Now on this one, it's still 3 tall, still 3 rows. 3 rows of 5, 3 times 5 is 15. 12 plus 15 is 27, and it's centimeters squared, and that's that little tiny 2. Okay, now I want you, when you are practicing on your paper that matches this video, you're going to go like this with, I'm holding down my mouse pad and dragging, and then I'm going to grab it. And you notice how it put boxes around everything. I'm going to hold down my control button and my C button, and that's going to copy it. Now I'm going to do control and V, that's like Velcro, and it's going to give me another set. I'm going to try to grab them. Hello, there we go, grabbed them, and now I'm dragging them down here. Now they don't match. I'm going to have to change the size of my boxes. I'm going to drag it a little more so it's in the corner. I'm going to use my arrow key so that it's lined up a little better. Now I'm going to unselect them. There we go. This guy obviously is not the right size. So I'm going to make him bigger so that he fits. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm going to make this guy fit. I'm going to use my arrow key and arrow up a little bit. Oh, arrow down. I didn't like that. Okay, now I'm going to stretch him so that he fits. And that's pretty good. So I'm looking at my, oopsie. There we go. Now I grabbed the right one. I'm going to use my arrow key so that I can get it about where I want it. There we go. Now it's where I want it. But it's not a 3 by 9. This is a 4 by 10. So I'm going to use my cursor, land on top of that 3. I'm going to change that one to a 4. And I'm going to change this guy to a 10. Now my red shape is a 4 by 4. I don't have to change both of these numbers. I just need to change one of them. So grabbing it with my computer, and I'm changing it to a 4. And I don't really like the spacing because I like things just so. There we go. Used my backspace and now it fits better. Now this guy, it's still 4 tall. It's still 4 rows. So I have to change this 3 to a 4. Now up here it's labeled. It's telling me it's 6 across. So I need to change this 5 to a 6. Okay, now I'm going to hit my back button. There we go. Now it's nice and lined up. Okay, now this next row of numbers, these don't match my equation. So I need to make them match my equation. 4 times 10, that is not 27. So I'm going to fix it so that it says 40. Okay, 4 times 4, that is not 12. So I'm going to fix it so that says 16. There we go. 4 times 6, that is not 15. That's 24. Oopsie, I'm going to stretch my box so that it fits. There we go. Now, 16 plus 24 is 40. So I need to come over here, grab this guy, put him up on the line where I like him, and make it say 40. So the area of a 4 by 10 shape is 40 centimeters squared, and we figured that out using the distributive property. Okay, so I'm going to do one more with you. So I'm going to come over here. I'm holding my mouse pad down, dragging with my other finger. I've captured it, and now I'm going to hold my control button down, hold the C down. I captured it. Now I'm going to do Control V to Velcro it, and I've got another set of it. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to do Control Z because otherwise I just have a huge mess. Okay, so now I'm back to that starting point. I'm going to do Control Velcro again, and I'm going to try to grab it without dropping it. So I'm going to wait till it changes to, oops, see how it changed to this little plussy icon? Now it means I've got all of them. Okay, now I'm going to drag it over. Oh, that was pretty close. That's almost where I want it. There we go. So we'll notice my blue one is too far over. I'm going to shift him to start with. There we go. Now I need to make my red one a little bit bigger. So there we go. My red one's the right size. My blue one is not the right size. So I need to stretch my blue one. There we go. Now my blue one's the right size. Okay, now this is in the wrong spot. So I'm going to drag it over so it's where I want it. There we go. That's pretty good. I like how that's lined up. But this is not a 4 by 10. It's a 4 by 12. So I need to change this 10. Whoopsie, wrong one. Change that 10 to a 12. Now looking at my red shape is a 4 by 5. 4 rows of 5. So my second 4 needs to get changed to a 5. I still have 4 rows, but now I have 4 rows of 7. So I'm going to change that 6 to a 7. Okay. I don't know what this is yet, but it's not going to be 40. It's going to be bigger than 40. So we're going to come back and we're going to fix that in a minute. Some of you may have 4 times 12 memorized, and if you're like, oh, I already know that, then just fix it right now. Okay, 4 times 5 is not 16. Hopefully you're like, Mrs. Mears, that's 20. 4 times 7 is not 24. It's 28. Okay, now I can figure out what 4 times 12 is because I can do 20 plus 28, and I know that is 48. So I'm going to change this guy because he needs to be 48 also. Okay, so I have done 3 of these with you on this particular page. I want you to do 2 of them by yourself. I'm going to come down and I'm going to talk about this very, very bottom one. So what you are going to do is you are going to grab some of that. It's okay if you grabbed more than you meant to, like I just did. I'm going to do a Control C, then I'm going to do a Control V. Now I got to wait till it changes to a plus. Now I'm going to drag it down to where I want it. Come on, go where I want you. Okay, well, it's being grumpy. So I want it to stay highlighted like that. And then I'm going to use my arrow buttons to get it down where I want it. So this told me I wanted a 6 by 8. Well, right now I have 4 rows. I don't have 6 rows. So I need to make sure I have 6 rows. So now I've got 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But here it says my red part needs to be a 6 by 3. So I'm going to go like that. Now I've got a 6 by 3. Now my blue part wants to be a 6 by 5. Let's see if I can get it to go down a little bit because it's not quite on the line. Oh, that's being a little bit grumpy. Ooh, that's better. I'm going to try to make this guy right on the line. There we go. I like that. So am I allowed to have an odd shape like that? No, I need a full-fledged rectangle. So I need 6 rows of 5. I've got 6 rows. I've got way more than 5. I need to change it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to bring my edge over to that line. So I need to shorten it by 2. There we go. So now I have 6 rows of 5, and it says draw and label the rectangle. I've drawn it. I have not labeled it. So I'm going to use this guy. So earlier, you'll notice, let me move this out of the way. There we go. If we go up and we look at these rectangles, we can see how things are labeled. I want to label the chunk and the chunk on the top. I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to make this black. So I'm going to come up here. Oh, that's highlighter. There we go. It says text color right there. So I'm going to make it black. Now, I don't want to use 12. I want to use 3, and I want to use 5 because this guy is 3 and this guy is 5. So I'm going to change that to a 3, and we are labeling it CM. Now I can get rid of most of that. Oh, look, there's a 5. I need a 5. I'm going to keep that guy. CM. Now I can get rid of the 4 and the 7. I don't need the 4 and the 7. I'm going to shrink my box. It doesn't need to take up that much room. And I'm going to go space, space. And I can bring it down so it sits right on top. Now, I've already got that. I've already got the CMs labeled. I might as well use it. So I'm going to do a Control C while I still have the box around it. Control V. Now I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom. And as we look over here earlier, we wanted to show 8. So I'm going to get rid of my 3. And I'm going to change this 5 to an 8. I'm going to put a little space between it. I don't like how close that is. And that guy too. And then I'm going to bring it up a little bit. There we go, so I can see it. Now, I forgot to label this guy. I'm going to show you kind of a fun trick. I want you to grab him, Control C, Control V. Now we're going to bring him over here. Now, see this little circle here? This lets you rotate it. You just play with that. And I'm sure some of you are going to be going, woo, woo, woo. That's okay. Have a little fun with it. So looking back at my equation, I want that to be a 6. So I'm going to change this 8 to a 6. Okay. So in the one that you have, this stuff is not pre-on there. The only thing that is pre-on there is this guy right here. Oh, don't forget to type your name. That way when you hit submit, I know who you are. So I'm going to put Waylon because he's hanging out with me here in this office mess room. So I'm going to Waylon Mears. There we go. Okay, now let's go look at the other page that you kind of got a peekaboo preview over here of. So first thing I'm going to do is put Waylon's name, and he's decided to go check out and see what somebody else is doing in the house. Earlier I had kitty cats visiting me, but they have abandoned me. Okay, so this is a process called partial products, and you're going to use this a lot at the beginning of 4th grade when they don't want you just doing 1 by 2 digit. They want you understanding the rationale behind it. What does the physical model actually stand for? So in the original sample on the problem was 6 times 12 is 72. And to get that, you do 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 2 is 12. You add it and you get the 72. So I set up another model over here for 8 times 13 is 104. So the 8 times 13 comes from right here. So to start with, this is kind of, on the other one it was red and blue, and this one's blue and red. So your brain has to do a little flippity flop. So I have 8 rows of 10 for a total of 80. And then I show my equation over here that matches that. And then I have 8 rows of 3 is 24. And I show that equation here. And then I add them together and I get 104. So we're going to do one together. So I am going to grab all of this. I'm going to hold down my trackpad and use my other finger. And I'm going to do a Control C. And then I'm going to do a Control V. And then I'm going to wait for this to turn to a plus. And then I'm going to drag it all down to this guy. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do some shifting because I don't think it landed quite where I want it. Nope, it's not where I want it. It's close though. But I think I'm going to have to do some shifty. Okay, so this equation, we wanted, uh-oh, that is not what we wanted. What did I do? Control Z hopefully will fix that. No, Control Z did not fix it. Okay, let's come back to here. Now let's click on it. Yay, it's back. I didn't totally mess everything up. Okay. So I'm going to grab this and move it so it's where I want it. I did want 13, but I don't want 8. I want a 6. So I'm going to change this to 6. I'm going to change this color to remind myself it's not 104. I need to go back later and change that. So let's go with orange because I know I'm not using orange for stuff. That'll remind me that I need to change that answer because that's not correct. So it is not 8 rows of 10. It needs to be 6. So I need to make this 6 times 10. Yay, there we go. And so 6 times 10 is going to be 60. Now I need to remember not to forget change the size of my box, because if I leave my box the way it is, it's wrong. So it is 6 rows of 10, so it needs to be 2 shorter than it was. It is not quite lined up where I want it. I am very particular. And hopefully when you do this, you're going to be particular. Okay, now this guy is wrong. I'm going to move him off for now. Come on over here. So I want 6 rows of 3. So right now it's 2 rows too tall. Oopsie, I think I just messed it up. Oh, yay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I need to change this 8 to a 6. And 6 times 3 is not 24. It's 18. Then I'm going to slide that back on top. Sort of. There we go. Let me shorten this up so that it fits better. Oopsie, shortened it up too much. There we go, that fits. So now looking over here, 6 times 10 was 60. I'm going to change this equation. Whoopsie, I got the wrong one. So 6 times 10, it's not 80. Keep grabbing the wrong thing. There we go, 60. Now 6 times 3 is 18, so I need to fix this guy. 6. Oop, grab the wrong thing. And that one needs to be 18. Now I can add those. Those aren't ugly numbers. So 60 plus 18, 0 plus 8 is 8. I'm gonna make sure I'm in my tens place now. And 6 plus 1 is 7. So I found my answer is 78. Now I can come over here and put my right answer down, 78. And I'm going to change it back to black because I'm happy with that answer now. There we go. So I'm going to do one more with you. We'll go further down the page and we'll do something that isn't times a 13. So, ooh, over here I see an 8 times 14. Ooh, I think I know what I'm going to do. See where we had 8 times 13? I'm going to go grab that because then I just need to make it a little bit longer and I won't have as much stuff to change. So let's go grab that. Control C, Control V. I'm just going to use my arrow button because it's just straight down. There we go. Okay, let's see if I moved it far enough. Hopefully I didn't move it like all the way off the page. Oh, moved it too far. So let's bring it back up. Oop. You can kind of get ahead of yourself with that arrow button. Okay, so now we're ready to fine tune things and make sure that it matches. So I'm going to slide it over a little because I like things just right. So I'm going to change the 13 to a 14. And I'm going to change the color on that because I don't want to forget to change my answer. So is that the button I want? Yep. Let's make it orange and that will remind me that I'm not happy with that answer. So it is still 8 times 10. Oh, it's a little bit better. But this is not going to be 8 times 3. It needs to be 8 times 4 because 10 plus 4 is 14. Move that out of the way so that I can get to this right where I want it. There we go. 1, 2, 3. I need to make it 4. Come on. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let me make this bigger so that it actually goes to the line. Come on. There we go. So this was not 8 times 3. Remember, it's going to be 8 times 4 because 10 plus 4 is 14. Now, 8 times 4 is not 24. You just need to add another group of 8, and hopefully you're like, oh, yeah, I'd be 32. I've memorized that one, Mrs. Mears. I've been working at home on my multiplication facts. Okay, our 8 times 10 is still fine. That's still 80. But this 8 times 3 is not. We need to change that to 8 times 4. And that's not going to be 24. That's going to be 32. If I can grab the right thing, let me move 104 out of the way. There we go. 32. Now I can do that in my head. 0 plus 2 is 2. Now 8 plus 3 is 11. So I need to change that 10 to an 11. So we just came up with 100. Whoopsie. Oh, that's a little too close. Oh well, 112 is our answer for that one. And now I need to change the color because remember, orange was a reminder that I needed to go back and fix it. So I'm going to change it back to black. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I did several of those problems with you. It is now your chance to challenge yourself and see how you can do on it. So now I'm going to stop the share. And where'd my video button go? With my luck, I've done all this and forgot to record myself. Oh, there we go. Pause recording. I hope you've had a wonderful day. And when you are finished with this paper, please hit submit in Google Classroom.